What's up, guys? Chef Michael, restauranteur.com. Today we're going to take a look at a possible crooked contractor, employees sending out burnt food, and our hot tip of the week, how not to sell your restaurant. Coming up.
This is Restaurant Real.
So I agreed, I signed paperwork to bring on this contractor to do part of the job at the restaurant, some of the designing, and he's a contractor, not an architect, and so he's doing some of the drawing, and that kind of was a concern to me, but you know, contractors can do that stuff, I guess. I know I've drawn plans for things like a bathroom rehab and whatnot. So I mean, that was a little out of the ordinary, and then I had looked him up on his, I looked up his contractor's license, and there was a couple dings. And those dings were from like 5-10 years ago, and I don't really know what the dings were. You know, they were kind of vague as what it was. And I didn't want to be like, hey dude, what's all this? Because it was kind of like, we were already into it, you know? But then when, you know, we agreed to the terms and I went to go to cut him a check, he doesn't want a check written out in his business name. He wants it in his personal name, and that was a real red flag for me, and I didn't say anything. I don't know. I'm like, okay, now I don't know what to do. So now fast forward, he completes the plans, and we agree on the plans, and then he comes and asks me for a second check. And I like, yeah, sure, okay, you're done the plans, I'll bring you a second check. And at that point, it was like the second of 3 payments, and he was supposed to have the plans done. And so we met in a parking lot because we can't meet anywhere else right now because of this COVID thing. And so we met in a parking lot and just chatted, and he didn't have the plans. But he said that they're done. And so now I'm like, I gotta give him a check, but he doesn't have the plans. But they're done, you know? It's like, what do you do? I'm sorry, dude, I'm not gonna give you the money unless I have those plans in my hand. I mean, I know what the plans look like. We agreed upon what the plans were gonna be. So, you know, do I just leave it at that? And now, today, the head architect of the whole project reaches out to him with some information. He's asking for to bid the plumbing, the outdoor plumbing, and the plumbing for the sprinkler system to bring it all the way from the street to the door to the building. And so I know that most contractors can be authorized to do that, city work type thing. And so I'm totally cool with him bidding it, hoping he'll give me a good price. He's hounding me for like what my other bids aren't, but you know, he plays it off like, oh, well, it's, you know, so I can figure out, you know, what they're using and get comparable quotes for you. What it is you don't know what you're doing, and you're just gonna bid just below that so you get the job, obviously. After a minute, I realized that, and I didn't give him the bids he was looking for. But anyway, he reached out to my architect, who did. And then my architect asked him what his contractor's license number was, which was interesting. And he didn't reply. So I find that really interesting that he didn't reply to her, because he was replying via email all morning. And I told him today was the only day he had left to submit a proposal. And he didn't reply to that email. But what he did do was text me that he needs to talk to me immediately. So what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. But I tell you what, I am definitely panicked that yet again, like my old plumber, I am going to get screwed out of, I think, which is somewhere around $5,000 invested to this man already. And I don't know, shame on me. I guess I just keep trusting people just a little bit. I mean, it's like I got contracts and everything, and I sometimes I get that one weird gut feeling, but God, I go off of my gut, but sometimes I just, you know, at the end of the day, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Yeah, so I'm going to be heading, I'm going to call him in a minute. I'll report back, and then I'll be heading down there, and we'll see what's going on. Talk soon. So I was going to head down the hill and make my phone calls and go down to the restaurant, but the architect just called me back, and that made me even more nervous. Because I'm like, wow, okay, he's got something to say. And so I'm all suspicious and everything, but I get on the phone with this guy, and he just seems like a good guy. I mean, there's all those things, right? There's me writing a different check and a different name on the check, and giving you giving you the check before the plans are actually done, and these strikes on your contractor's license, all these little things here and there, and I guess I'm just jaded. I don't know, but talking to the guy, he seems like he's got my best interest in mind. He's like he's looking out for the best price, and he throws a random number out there, and it's a good price, but he wants to solidify it, and he's looking, and now I don't know. It's like this is why I'm trusting, because he seems like a good guy. And I'm just like, okay, so is he going to end up screwing me in the end? What's going to happen? I swear. I mean, there's so many times I've been screwed, I guess. And yeah, so, I mean, so far we'll see, I guess. Okay, so I'm headed down to the restaurant this morning. Got to handle a pretty big deal, pretty big issue. I get a phone call from a customer last night that was such a long-term customer that instead of just leaving me a bad Yelp review or Google review, some sort of 1-star disgracing me across the internet, they had the foresight to be kind enough and call me. And when a customer does that, I know that it's a serious deal, and I handle that with the utmost care, and I don't think for a second that customer is being unreasonable. So this customer ordered a pizza and a salad last night, said that they were a long-term customer, they've been coming there for years, and they love us, obviously, because they called instead of leaving the review, right? She sends me the pictures of the pizza. It's fucking black. The bottom of the pizza is fucking black. Like, I've seen some pizzas that get a little heat, a little too much heat, little dark spots here and there. This is like super burnt. Like you put it on the bottom of the pizza oven and just rubbed it around in the coals or something. Something ridiculous. I don't know how this could have gotten past 3 separate cooks on the line. And I go and I look up the schedules to, who was working for sure. Was it the new guy? No, the new guy wasn't there. It was my 2 veterans, my sous chef and my third in command, my pizzaiola, my pizza guy. And most likely he's the guy that freaking made it. So I had to go talk to these guys, and this is not going to be good for them. I'm going to sit these guys down and we're going to have a conversation. It's going to be our last conversation, because if this happens again, it's not going to happen again. That's all there is to it. I will fire all these motherfuckers and run the fucking restaurant myself. I've done it before. I can do it again. It's fine. I'll run around like a nut, but I'll make sure everything looks beautiful.
And now, our hot tip of the week.
That's hot!
So why you should never sell your restaurant through a restaurant realtor company. When I first bought this building, I had a great idea. Let another restaurateur rent it from me. I wouldn't have to deal with all the expense, all the headache of running a restaurant, and if things didn't work out, I had myself a restaurant that was ready to go. Turnkey, right? I thought that was wicked smart. But here's the scoop. If you ever look into selling or renting a restaurant, there's not a whole lot of options out there. If you do a Google search, there's only like 2 or 3 options, and the one I picked was the worst. And this is why I bring it up. When you do search, the guy I use will most likely come up first, and his dummy company will come up second. Anyway, since I don't know the laws, but I do know this guy's a dick, I'm not going to mention his name, but it rhymes with douchebag. And here's why. I meet up with his sales agent, and he tries to impress me with his English accent and the fact that he used to have a restaurant reality show. Now, can we talk about the English accent for a second? I mean, what the fuck? Aren't we over this yet? Can we move on? There's nothing special or overly intellectual about someone that sounds like they have curdled milk in the back of their throat. So, enough with the English people being, superstars and everything they say sounds so important. Okay? Okay. Anyway, so this guy pulls out all the bells and whistles to impress me and tell me how he's going to find me a tenant for maximum lease rate super quick. But he says all this, so I'll sign his contract. And of course, he gets a nice percentage of that sale, somewhere in the realm of like 5 to 10% of the total lease rate for the life of the lease. So for me, that was going to be like 30, 40K for this guy. That's a lot of dough, right? Yeah. But I mean, at the time I was like, okay, I got nothing going on. And if this guy finds me a tenant that I can't find on my own, it's found money, right? So, I reluctantly convinced myself that it was going to be okay. He did tell me that I could cancel at any time, so there was that. So we move forward, and 1 month goes by, 2 months, 3 months goes by, nothing. 4 months, nothing. Not even an interest. A bite, an inquiry, nothing. But the thing is, all this company has done so far was place my ad on their listing site. That's it. Nothing else. They posted it and walked away. And right away I'm thinking, you promised so much more. I could pay $100 and get listed on numerous websites, online sites. For $30,000, you better have topless dancing girls outside my building or something, right? This company does nothing. So I'm bullshit, and I decide, okay, they're not going to do anything. then I might as well at least put some effort into it. And, I'm going to put a lease sign on the front door because they didn't even do that. So I tell my sales guy, hey, you haven't done anything. I'm going to put a lease sign on the front door, with my own information. And this guy, he's like, oh yeah, you can do that, but you're still going to have to pay our commission. I'm like, huh? Even if I found my own tenant? How does that make sense? So you got to tell me that you are so unconfident in your company's abilities that you can't even handle a little friendly competition? I mean, you haven't done anything, so I mean, you obviously don't want the sale. So, realizing that they don't plan on doing anything else, and are obviously a company made up of smoke, mirrors, and English accents, I tell them I'm done. Which I was told I could do at any point, verbally by the salesman. Unfortunately, I guess that wasn't in writing. So that screwed me. So I speak to the head douchebag in charge, who feels the need to list all his accolades at the bottom of his correspondence. I don't quite understand that. He's just got like a list of, oh, I wrote a book, and oh, I'm so special, and look at me here, and all that. It's like a list. Like a made-up list of like things that he needs you to see because he's so special. I hate that. I know a couple people like that, and it freaking drives me nuts. I put one thing. I'm fucking chef. There you go. I don't put, hey, I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and I'm so awesome. Let me show you how awesome I am every time I send an email. Take a hike, buddy. All right, so I went back and forth with this guy. He wouldn't budge on anything. He wouldn't let me out of this contract. I can't cancel. I can't rent. I can't sell it. I can't even open up my own business. There because they will claim it's a business that should be paying a lease, and I would owe them. They had me by the balls, and I wouldn't let them, and they wouldn't let me go. It got so bad. I couldn't even do construction in fear that they would think I was renting it out. The only thing I could do was sit on it for the rest of this contract that I was in. Sure, they had a contract that they lied about, but what kind of company, what kind of person does that to another? I mean, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to rent it out. I've told you I don't want to do business anymore, so you can't force me to rent it. So shouldn't we part ways and move on? But this fucktard won't let me. I mean, the only upside for this guy is making me lose more money by not allowing me to do anything else. Like, that's his only motivation. Like, I've washed my hands. You've obviously not done anything anyway. You have no intentions of doing anything else. You've had like 5-6 months to do nothing. You've brought me nothing. And I just want out. And dude won't let me out. For no other reason except be a dick. Which is ridiculous, because someday I'm going to sell my restaurants, and I'm going to need someone to do that for me. And if this guy would have, treated me right, he would have had 2, possibly 3 restaurants to sell for me. But now, he doesn't get any of my business, nor anybody I know. And if you guys are smart and listen to me, none of you either. So, there's always that. But listen, there's so many other options out there. They're just not in our face. Really, a regular realtor can assist you with some sort of sale or purchase of a building or business. And absolutely, there are some commercial realtors out there as well. I would advise you to first just get your feet in the network, talk to the people in the business, because those are the people that know what's available, what's not available, who's looking for what. So if you're in the business right now, reach out to your purveyors, reach out to your other restaurants near you. So many times people have called me and said, hey, I'm going out of business, I got some equipment to sell, or I got some extra employees, things like that. We're a pretty close-knit community, even though we spend all our time in one building. So there's that. The online stuff, just like the Craigslist, the Facebook Marketplace, all that stuff still applies. So you can do it there as well. But for sure, I would not recommend getting some sort of outrageous commission or paying some sort of outrageous commission to these people. It's ridiculous. Nobody should have to be pinned for $30,000 to $40,000 because you found somebody that was probably walking by your building anyway, or walking by your restaurant. I mean, I've had people just come into my restaurant and offer to buy it, I mean, word of mouth is going to be the best one anyway. So.
Now that's hot.
That was our hot tip of the week. All right, that wraps it up. Go ahead and hit that like button and leave your comments below. Subscribe so you know when we post, and I'll see you next week. Or I won't.